Howdy, and here we are at Yates American B244. Today we're going to get the frames on, adjust the table gibs, and adjust the table roller height. You don't have to watch very many of my videos to know that I really don't like mud daubers. The frame castings on this B244 have some really deep cavities that are subject to mud daubers. So I'm going to try using some thick castable epoxy to fill in those cavities, and I'm going to try to bulk it up with some wood chips to just increase the volume. So I'll probably put one more layer with filler, and then a final layer that's real thin with no filler at all. On subsequent fills with the filler, the sawdust, I found I could really pack a lot in. It was like a really thick cookie dough, and I could really extend the epoxy a long ways. Here's the final layer. I intend to add a dust chute to the machine, so I'm adding a couple of threaded holes on each frame to serve as an anchor. The frames are too big and heavy to navigate underneath my big drill press, so I've taken my little drill press and I've kind of jerry-rigged it to my workbench to drill the holes. In the past, during painting, I'd spent a lot of time applying and cutting masking tape to mask off areas that I don't want to get painted. But now with these strip discs, it's just as easy just to let the paint fly and then go back over the bare metal surfaces with these strip discs. You get rid of the paint and then you get rid of rust and you're down to clean metal. I forgot to do these surfaces on the other frame. I'll have to go back and touch that up. haven't made any adjustments to the table gibs yet, but let's see if it'll crank up. Alright, so I should be able to take off these table supports now. I've been playing with the table for a little bit, and for some reason it's making a scraping noise. For the life of me, I can't figure out where that's coming from. I'm going to go ahead and adjust the table gibs because they need to be adjusted. Yeah, that's pretty loose. So adjusting the table gibs involves making sure these gib bolts are loose. I think they are already all loose. And then there's this very precariously located adjusting bolt. I'm not sure exactly how tight it should be. The gib adjustment bolt is easier to get to on the motor side, but only if the motor controller is not mounted. Again, I'm not real sure how tight this should be. I'm making it pretty snug and then basically backing off about 1/8 of a turn, maybe 1/4 of a turn. And then all the gib bolts need to be tightened back up. Now we'll have to go through that exercise again later on to adjust the table roller height. So these bolts have to be loosened, and then the table roller height is adjusted with these set screws here. Well, interestingly, having made those gib plate adjustments, is no longer making that scraping noise. It is a little bit hard to crank this. It's smooth, but it's a little bit tight. I'm not sure if that's normal or not. Well, now that the lash is adjusted on these gib plates, I'm going to go ahead and adjust the table rolls. I'm going to make them so they're about 5/1000ths of an inch above the center plate. So that will once again involve loosening these gib lock bolts. And then adjusting this upwards or downward to adjust the roll height. I'm going to use my handy dandy 8-point socket. Actually, I need to adjust that downward. I'm going to tap the roller with a little hammer to get it to move down. So I've got both table roller gibs adjusted so they're basically level with the table. Now I'll go below and raise each of the rollers so I'm getting about a 5/1000th gap here. Do the same over here. And then lock down these lock nuts. Also tighten these gib bolts. And then all those same adjustments will be made on the other side. Earlier when I was putting this drivetrain together, I may have mentioned that I didn't want to tension this chain until we had the gibs adjusted. So now that we've got the gibs adjusted, we can go ahead and tighten up this tension. on the chain. Okay, well here's the B244 with the frames on, and we've adjusted the table roller height, and we've adjusted the table gib tension, or lash if you want to call it that. Not sure what the next thing will be. Probably to put the motor together and make sure that it's working with the new bearings and all that.